I'm sitting on the tailgate of my pickup, parked out by the edge of town where the asphalt turns to gravel and the stars don't care who's watching. It's 1 a.m., April 2nd, 2025, and my hands are steady enough to type this on my phone, but my head's spinning like a tire in the mud. 3 weeks ago, my old man, Earl, kicked the bucket. Liver cancer. The kind that sneaks up quiet, then hits like a freight train. Diagnosed in January, gone by mid-March. 62 years old. I was the only one there when he took his last breath, holding his hand in that stale hospital room while the machines beeped out their goodbyes. My wife, Tara, was off getting her nails done. Said she needed self-care after a rough yoga session. Yeah, that's where we're at. Earl was a welder. Big hands, scarred up from years of sparks and steel. The guy'd fix anything. Cars, fences, folks' broken spirits if they let him. Raised me solo after my mom bailed when I was 9. Worked nights at the mill to keep us fed. Taught me how to throw a punch and take one too. Every Saturday, he'd drag me out to the woods with a couple sandwiches and this old pocket knife he carried everywhere. Not for hunting or fishing, just to whittle sticks into nothing while we talked. Said it kept his hands busy and his mind clear. Those days shaped me more than any job or book ever could. When he got sick, I started crashing at his place on weekends. Runs to the pharmacy, cooking him soup he'd barely touch, sitting by his bed when he couldn't move. Tara came once, spent the whole time wrinkling her nose at the antiseptic smell and scrolling through her phone. Earl caught it, gave me this weak grin, and muttered, "She's got better places to be, huh?" I brushed it off. Shouldn't have. 2 nights before he died, he fumbled under his pillow with shaky fingers and pulled out that pocket knife. Blade worn thin, handle chipped, but it was his. Handed it to me and said, "You're a good man, Travis. Don't let nobody tell you different." I lost it right there, tears and all. This was the guy who'd patched me up after every scrape, who'd worked himself to the bone so I could scrape by a trade school. And now he was gone. The funeral was bare bones. Me, a few of Earl's buddies from the mill, his cousin from Kentucky. Tara didn't show, texted me she was exhausted from a double Pilates class. I didn't even text back. Took a week off my job at the warehouse to sort his stuff. Kept his welding helmet, a flannel shirt that still smells like him, and that knife. Gave the rest to charity. It's what he'd have wanted. Back home, I was sitting at the dining table, just holding that knife, running my thumb over the initials he'd carved into the handle. Tara strolled in, fresh from the gym, sipping some green juice crap. She saw me, sighed like I was a kid with a broken toy, and said, "Jesus, Travis, your dad wasn't even that special. Maybe now you'll quit acting like he was some saint holding you back." Then she grabbed the knife out of my hand, tossed it in the trash with the chicken bones and coffee filters, and said, "Man up already." Time froze. I didn't say a word, just fished it out, wiped it on my jeans, and stuck it in my pocket. She rolled her eyes and strutted off to shower. That night, I lay there next to her, listening to her snore, and it hit me. I don't know this woman. 6 years married, a lease on this house. Whispers about starting a family, and she's a stranger. Next morning, my ex-wife, Kelly, showed up out of nowhere, banging on the door in a ratty hoodie, hair dripping from the rain, yelling about how I'd screwed her over in our divorce years back. Tara just laughed and shut the blinds. I stood there, numb, wondering how my life turned into this circus. I've been lurking online for years, those forums where guys vent about their train wreck lives. Never thought I'd post. But here I am, spilling it all, because I got nowhere else to turn. Earl's gone, Tara's a ghost in my house, and I'm clutching this knife like it's the only thing keeping me sane. Anybody still reading? Am I nuts for feeling like this? It's been a week since Tara chucked my old man's knife in the trash like it was some chewed-up gum wrapper. I'm back at work now, hauling crates in the warehouse, the kind of job that leaves your back sore and your mind free to chew on things you'd rather forget. The guys on the floor, Rusty, Mike, couple others, know something's off. They don't pry, just slap me on the shoulder and say, "You good, Trav?" I nod, keep moving. Truth is, I ain't good. Not even close. Earl's been gone 3 weeks and change. I keep that knife in my pocket every day, feeling its weight against my leg like it's his hand resting there, steadying me. Tara hates it. Caught her glaring at it yesterday when I set it on the counter while making coffee. She didn't say nothing, just pursed her lips like she'd sucked a lemon and went back to texting. Probably her yoga crew, planning their next smoothie run. I don't ask anymore. We've been hitched 6 years. Met at a bar downtown, me in my work boots, her in some tight dress that screamed money. She's from the other side of the tracks, fancy college, parents with a lake house, the whole deal. I thought it was cool, you know? Opposites attract and all that. I was a dumbass. Back then, she teased me about my hick roots, my beat-up Chevy, how I'd rather grill burgers than eat sushi. I'd laugh, thinking it was cute. Now I see it was her chipping away at me, bit by bit, like water wearing down a rock. When Earl got sick, it got worse. I'd drive out to his trailer every Saturday 40 miles each way, bringing him meds, fixing his leaky sink, or just sitting there watching old westerns while he dozed off. Tara never came after that first time. Said it was depressing and she didn't do well with sick people vibes. I'd come home wiped out and she'd be on the couch in her leggings, whining about how I smelled like motor oil or how I wasn't present for her. Present? I was keeping my dad alive while she was downward dogging her way through life. Last night, I hit a wall, got home from work, cracked a beer, and sat on the back steps, flipping that knife open and shut. Tara came out, hair in a messy bun, holding one of those iced coffee things she pays $8 for. She saw the knife and snorted. Still playing with that junk? Your dad was a nobody, Travis. Maybe now you'll quit moping and start acting like a real husband. Then she flicked her wrist, snatched it out of my hand, and dropped it in the dog's water bowl. Buster's this one we got 2 years back. Grow a pair, she said, and sashayed inside. I fished it out, dried it on my shirt, and just sat there, staring at the yard. Buster came over, licked my hand, like he knew I was breaking inside. That's when my buddy Hank called. Known him since we were kids, big guy, works construction, always got my back. I spilled it all. Earl dying, Tara's coldness, the knife in the water bowl. First thing he said was, "Man, has she always been this heartless, or are you just waking up to it?" Damn, that hit me square in the chest. Hank asked to see my phone. We met up at this dive bar, neon signs, sticky tables. He scrolled through my bank app while I nursed a Bud Light. His eyes got wide, and he slid it back to me. You see this, Trav? Over the last year, Tara's been siphoning cash from our joint account, $50 here, $100 there. Adds up to almost 10 grand, moved to her own little stash. Money I bust my ass for, driving forklifts 10 hours a day. Our money, my foot. I got home late, and Tara was asleep. Snuck a peek at her phone while she was out cold, unlocked, 'cause she's too cocky to think I'd check. Found texts to her sister, Travis is such a drag lately, all about his dead dad. Then messages to some dude named Derek, her wellness coach. Late night stuff. Can't wait for our session tomorrow, babe. My stomach turned. 6 years, and I'm the idiot who didn't see it. I ain't yelling yet. I'm collecting screenshots, bank records, every snide word she's thrown at me or Earl. That knife's my anchor, and she don't know what's coming. This morning, I caught her rifling through my work bag while I was in the shower. She slammed it shut when I walked in, said she was looking for gum. Bull. She's digging, probably sniffing out what I've got left after Earl's medical bills drained me. I just smiled, patted Buster, and headed to work. She's got no clue I'm about to turn the tables. It's been 10 days since Tara dropped my old man's knife in Buster's water bowl, and I'm still tasting the bile from that moment. Work's been my escape, stacking boxes, driving the forklift, letting the hum of the warehouse drown out the noise in my head. But it don't last. Every night, I come home to her, and it's like walking into a house made of cracked glass. One wrong step, and it's all gonna shatter. I'm starting to see the rust on this marriage, and it ain't pretty. Earl's been in the ground a month now. I wear that knife in my pocket like a talisman, flipping it open sometimes just to hear the click, same as he used to. Tara's noticed. Last night, I was sitting at the kitchen table, running my finger along the blade's edge, not cutting, just feeling it, when she stormed in, fresh from some hot yoga class, sweat still on her forehead. She saw the knife and let out this dramatic huff. God, Travis, are you still obsessed with that thing? Your dad was just some broke welder. Maybe now you'll stop pretending he was a hero and focus on us. She reached for it, quick as a snake, and tossed it in the sink with the dirty dishes. Get over it, she snapped, then grabbed her water bottle and flounced off. I stood there, hand shaking, staring at that knife half buried under a greasy plate. Took me a solid minute to move, pulled it out, rinsed it clean, dried it with the hem of my shirt. Didn't yell, didn't chase her. Just put it back in my pocket and went outside to sit with Buster. He's the only one in this house who don't judge me. Licked my hand while I tried to figure out how I ended up married to someone who'd spit on my dad's memory like that. Hank's been my lifeline. Met up with him again after work, same bar, same sticky tables. Brought my laptop this time, 'cause I'd started digging. Showed him the bank app, those sneaky transfers Tara's been making. He whistled low. 10 grand, man. That's felony territory if you push it. Then I showed him the text I'd screenshotted from her phone, her and Derek, the wellness coach. Stuff like, miss you already, and can't wait to stretch with you. Hank's eyebrows shot up. Wellness coach, my ass. She's banging him, Trav. I nodded. Didn't even feel mad, just tired, like I'd been carrying a load I didn't know was there till it fell off. Hank smart, always has been. Told me to keep quiet, play dumb, and start building a case. You don't just walk away from 6 years and a house without a plan, he said. She's gonna try to bleed you dry. So I've been documenting every transfer, every text, every time she sneered at me or Earl. Got a little notebook in my truck where I jotted all down, timestamps and all. Feels like I'm a detective in my own damn life. This morning, I caught her in the act again. Came out of the bedroom and saw her hunched over my laptop on the couch, screen open to my email. She slammed it shut when she heard me, gave this fake laugh. Just checking if that package shipped, she said, too quick. Package, my foot. I've got nothing coming. She's hunting probably for bank logins or whatever's left of Earl's life insurance payout. It ain't much, barely covered the funeral, but she don't know that. I just shrugged, said, hope it gets here soon, and walked out to feed Buster. She don't know I've got that laptop locked down now, passwords changed, everything synced to a cloud she can't touch. Later, I called my sister, Lynn, she's up in Ohio, only family I got left. Told her about Tara, the knife, the money, Derek. Lynn's quiet usually, but she got loud fast. Travis, she's always been a leech. I saw it at your wedding. Her smirking while Mom's ring went on her finger like it was a trophy. I'd forgotten that. Earl gave me Mom's old band to use, cause I couldn't afford one. Lynn's right, though. Tara's been coasting my paycheck, my sweat, my everything, while she's out finding herself with some gym rat. I'm done being blind. Tonight, I sat on the porch with Buster, flipping that knife, and made a call. Tomorrow, I'm meeting a lawyer, some guy Hank knows, supposed to be a bulldog in court. I ain't confronting Tara yet. Hank's got me on this stay cool plan. But I'm moving. Opened a new checking account at a credit union across town. Started shifting small chunks of cash, 20 here, 50 there, so she won't notice. That knife's staying with me, and every time she glares at it, I just grin. She thinks I'm weak. She's about to find out what Earl taught me. Real strength don't shout, it waits. It's been 2 weeks since I caught Tara snooping on my laptop, and I'm a man on a mission now. Work's still my sanctuary, pushing crates around the warehouse, letting the sweat burn off the anger, but home's a battlefield I'm navigating like a soldier. Earl's knife stays in my pocket, a little piece of him keeping me grounded while I figure out how to pull the pin on this grenade of a marriage. Tara don't suspect a thing, too busy with her yoga mats and Derek's coaching to see me sharpening my edge. I met the lawyer yesterday, name's Carl, a stocky guy with a handshake like a vice and a noble attitude. Hank set it up, said Carl's the kind who'd fight a bear for you, and win. We sat in his office, smelled like old coffee and paper, and I laid it all out, the bank transfers, the text with Derek, the way she's been trashing Earl's memory. Showed him my notebook, the screenshots, the whole damn mess. Carl leaned back, chewed on a pin, and said, Travis, you've got a solid case. She's been siphoning marital funds, could be fraud if we push it. And the affair? That's leverage. He's drawing up divorce papers, told me to keep playing nice while he dots the I's. Hank's been my shadow through this. We met up at his place last night, little duplex by the railroad tracks, smells like sawdust from his construction gigs. Brought over a six-pack and my laptop, showed him the latest. Tara's upped her game, transferring $200 last week to her personal account. Hank shook his head. She's cocky, man. Thinks you're too dumb to notice. Then he grinned. Let's use that. We hatched a plan. Call it the quiet exit. I'm moving money slow, setting up a new life, and letting her think she's still got me under her thumb. This morning, I tested the waters. Left my old bank card on the counter, bait, you know? Came home from work, and it was gone. Checked the account online. Sure enough, she'd swiped it and dropped $300 at some boutique. Didn't say a word, just smiled when she walked in with a new scarf, acting like nothing happened. She's digging her own grave, and I'm handing her the shovel. Lynn called again, checking in. She's pissed, wants me to confront Tara, give her hell. She don't deserve your silence, Trav, she said. But I told her Carl's orders, stay cool, build the case. Lynn sighed, then laughed. Earl be proud, you know. He always said you were stubborn as a mule when you set your mind to something. That stuck with me. Earl was a fighter, quiet, steady, but unbreakable. I'm channeling that now. Tonight, I caught Tara texting Derek on the couch, right next to me. Didn't even hide it, smirking at her phone while I flipped through channels. Saw can't wait for tomorrow pop up before she tilted the screen away. My blood boiled, but I kept my face blank. Later, when she was in the shower, I checked her tablet. Location history showed her at some condo across town 3 times last week. Same place Derek posts gym selfies from. Cliché as hell, but it's gold for Carl. I'm wearing Earl's knife every day now. Tara hates it, keeps making these snide little jabs. That thing's filthy, she said yesterday, wrinkling her nose. I just twirled it in my hand and said, keeps me sharp. She rolled her eyes, clueless. I've got a safety deposit box at the credit union now. Knife goes there when I ain't wearing it, along with my notebook and a USB of all the evidence. She'll never touch it. Tomorrow, I'm signing a lease on a little rental, a trailer out by the woods, nothing fancy, but it's mine. Hank's helping me move the basics this weekend while Tara's off on some girl's trip. She asked for $500 for it, probably headed to Derek's instead. I sent it, no questions. Let her think she's winning. Carl says we're close, papers will be ready soon. I'm sleeping better, knowing the end's in sight. Earl's voice keeps echoing in my head. Don't let nobody walk over you, son. I ain't, Dad. Not anymore. It's Saturday, and I'm in the trailer now, my new spot. Smells like pine and old carpet, but it's quiet, and that's worth more than gold. Yesterday was the big move, and it went off like clockwork. Tara left at dawn for her girls' trip, suitcase packed, whining about needing space to recharge. I waved her off, handed her the $500 she asked for, and watched her peel out in her SUV. Soon as she was gone, Hank pulled up with his truck, and we got to work. Didn't take much, just my clothes, Earl's welding helmet, a box of kitchen stuff, and my TV. Left all her fancy crap. The overpriced blender, the rugs you can't step on, the framed art that looks like a kid scribbled it. Only thing I cared about was that knife, safe in my pocket. Hank's brother, Pete, showed up too, big guy, quiet, hauled my mattress like it was nothing. Took us 3 hours, tops. By noon, I was cracking a beer in my new place, Buster sniffing around the yard like he owned it. Tara don't know yet. I left the divorce papers on the kitchen island back at the house, neat stack, signed, with my old house key taped to him. No note, no drama, just the facts. Carl had him ready Thursday, said they're airtight. I also left printouts, her text with Derek, bank transfers, even a timeline from my notebook. She'll see it tonight when she gets back. Oh, and I canceled all our joint cards except one, the one she loves for shopping. Let her rack it up. Carl says it'll bite her later. Hank stayed after the move, sat with me on the trailer's rickety porch. You did it, man, he said, clinking his bottle against mine. Clean break. Felt good, but weird too, like I'd shed a skin I didn't know was choking me. Then my phone buzzed, text from Tara's friend, Jen. What's wrong with you? Tara says you're losing it over your dad. I laughed. She's already spinning her story, painting me as the nut job. Didn't reply, just forwarded it to Carl. This morning, I woke up to 20 missed calls from Tara and a voicemail that'd make a sailor blush. You piece of shit, Travis. You took everything. Where's my money? On, screaming about how I'd ruined her life. Funny, she didn't mention Derek. I saved it for Carl. Then I went fishing, took Earl's old rod to the creek out back. Didn't catch nothing, but sitting there, knife in my hand, I felt him with me. First piece I've had in months. She showed up at the warehouse this afternoon, stormed in while I was on break, hair wild, eyes red. Started yelling in front of everybody. You think you can just walk out? I'll take you for all you've got. Rusty and Mike just stared, jaws dropped. I stayed calm, said, talked to my lawyer, and walked back to my forklift. She cussed me out till the supervisor told her to leave or he'd call the cops. She left, but not before flipping me off through the window. Tonight, I'm in the trailer, Buster curled up by my feet. Phone's off, Carl's handling her now. I've got 10 grand left from my savings, half of what was ours, fair and square. She's got the house, the debt, and Derek, good luck with that. I keep thinking about Earl, how he'd grin at this. You're tougher than you look, Trav, he'd say. Damn right, Dad. Tomorrow's a new day, and I'm breathing easier than I have in years. It's Monday, and the storm's hit full force. I'm at the diner down the road from the warehouse, sipping burnt coffee, hands still steady after yesterday's chaos. Tara's losing it, and I'm just watching the pieces fall. She showed up at Hank's place at dawn. Guess she figured he'd know where I'm at. Woke him up banging on his door, screaming, "Where's Travis?" He stole my life. Hank, bless him, kept it chill, told her through the screen he didn't know nothing and she needed to leave. She sat on his lawn, crying and calling me every name in the book, till a neighbor called the cops. They hauled her off, trespassing warning, no charges yet. Hank texted me the play-by-play, laughing. She's a damn tornado, Trav. Work was quiet today, guys gave me space after Tara's scene yesterday. But my phone's been a war zone. 50 texts from her, some begging, some threatening, one saying she'd forgive me if I came back. Delusional. Then Carl called. She'd been to his office, trying to charm him, crying about how I'd abandoned her. Carl saw through it, said she's got no case, especially with the evidence. She's scrambling, he told me. Keep your head down. I called Lynn after work, filled her in. She's thrilled, wants to come down from Ohio, bring her kids to see the trailer. You're free, Trav, she said. Earl'd be dancing if he could. Made me smile, thinking of him two-stepping in that old flannel. Then I checked the joint card I left active, 2 grand charged at a spa. Stress shopping, I guess. Carl says it's her problem now, divorce will sort the debt. Tonight, I sat on the porch with Buster, flipping Earl's knife. Found an old photo in my wallet, me and Dad at the creek, him showing me how to bait a hook. Stuck it on the fridge with a magnet. Tara's mom called, surprise move. She's a sweet lady, always liked me. Said Tara's been lying to her, claiming I'd gone nuts. I sent her the Derek texts, told her the truth. She went quiet then said, I should have seen this coming. She's always been selfish. Apologized, even. Felt bad for her, she don't deserve this mess either. Tara's unraveling fast. Jen texted again, says Tara's telling folks I'm a deadbeat who drained her accounts. Truth's catching up, though. Derek's ghosting her, Hank saw him at the bar with some other chick. She's alone now, and it's sinking in. I ain't gloating, just glad to be out. Tomorrow, I'm meeting Carl to finalize stuff. Life's messy, but it's mine again. It's Friday, April 18th, 2025, and I'm at the creek again, Earl's rod in hand, knife in my pocket. Divorce papers are filed, Carl says it's smooth sailing from here. Tara's got the house, the debt, and a lawyer who's already begging for a settlement. She's got no leverage, evidence buried her. I'm in the trailer, 10 grand in my name, and a clean slate. Feels like waking up after a long, bad dream. Last night, she tried one more time, showed up at the diner where I was eating with Hank. Sat across from me, all dolled up, tears on cue. Travis, we can fix this. I messed up, but I love you. I let her talk, sipping my Coke, then slid the knife out of my pocket and set it on the table. You threw this away, I said. Threw him away. We're done. Her face twisted anger, then panic. She stormed out, yelling about lawyers. Hank just laughed. She's toast, man. Today, I visited Earl's grave, brought his favorite cheap cigars, lit one for him. Told him I made it out, that I'm stronger cause of him. Wind picked up, felt like he was there, nodding. Back at the trailer, Lynn's coming next week, gonna grill out, let her kids run wild. Ran into an old high school buddy, Sarah, at the gas station yesterday. She asked about the knife, listened when I told her about Earl. We're grabbing a beer tomorrow, just friends, but it's nice to talk to someone who gets it. Terror's fading, max cards. No Derek. No lies left to tell. I'm not mad anymore, just moving forward. Earl always said, life's too short to carry dead weight, son. He was right. I've got his knife, my dog, and a road ahead. That's enough.